So I'm going to wave bye to the SC5000. I love you. I'll see you again.
The power of the dark side.
Alright, so here we are with the Denon SC5000s, which are going away. Alright, so basically the deal is, after spending several weeks with these things, regarding creativity, I personally feel like this is a more creative setup here. So I've just kind of gone back to my MCX8000, which is what I did before when I bought the DJ808. So most recently on this table, I had the SC5000 and the X1800 mixer. Okay, but there's a couple of things. Number one, you may be able to be satisfied with the engine prime on a live situation when you're at the club, because it's easy. But when you're at home and you're trying to create, it's just not enough. It's nowhere near as robust as Serato. Serato is pretty awesome, as it turns out. So actually yesterday I bought a couple more expansion packs for Serato. And you get a lot. I mean, if you look at what you get when you buy hardware, when you buy a little software, you actually get a lot. So I'm going to stick with this thing for a while. What I wish is that this company would come up with a new controller, because the one thing, I'm telling you this, the one thing, if you had it on a controller, is that right there. If you could have that right there on your controller, one on each side, man, that would make everything better. Because basically, when you look at this, the best feature of this is basically that, and the having beat jump easy. Over here, to get beat jump, you've got to go into roll. Then you have to beat jump with this grid, and you have to remember which does what. These go back and forth, and these change. No, these go back and forth. See, I already forgot. So there are some things that are easier on the SC5000. But man, that rotary knob, what they should do on the MCX8000, I don't know if they could do this, somehow turn one of these knobs into that so that you could reach up here and do your looping with that. Pow. So you reach up, start loop, end loop, you know, move loop. So if I had one suggestion, if it was possible, would be to make that rotary dial do the same thing that rotary dial does right there. Because that is the best part of this whole thing. I mean, the touchscreen is awesome and all, but look, it's really, quite honestly, the information on the screen is what you need. Having the touch strip is nice to have it on the screen, but it's also nice over here. Although on this, sometimes it doesn't work right, but it may be because I have that piece of tape on it. See what the tape says? Do not touch. So I've still got the X1800 mixer, which is still for sale. The nice thing about this is if I ever get a club job and they have this, then hey, I already know how to use it. Pow. But yeah, we're just going to be back to Serato. Oh, too bad there wasn't a drop right there. Alright, so that's it. So, back to that, and quite honestly, the hookup of the SC5000 with the X1800, and the fact that you could only connect Serato when you're using the X1800, you cannot connect Serato to this directly. You have to have the mixer. And you have to do all the firmware updates, and you have to, if you want to do it in standalone mode, you have to hook up the audio. But if you want to do it in non-standalone Serato mode, then you have to do it where everything's connected via USB. Okay. And then, of course, you can go the one step further and connect everything via Ethernet. And over here, what you do is you just connect it to power, and then you're done. Okay, so a standalone controller makes a whole lot of sense, people, if you're trying to get work done and not spend your life on technical nonsense. So what's interesting is basically this is less technical in one way, but way more robust in the software. This is much more technical in its hardware setup, but far less robust in its software. And so basically, for all the work you do, you turn it on, and then in 10 minutes, you're familiar with everything. You know everything, which that's good. But it also is because it's literally like 5% of what this is over here. As far as features. Okay, so I suspect, but I have not fooled with, the record box is going to be a little bit more similar to Serato in the way that it functions with the hardware than is the Engine Prime. Because, okay, with the Engine Prime, you've got the front end, which is the SC5000. Then you got the back end, which is the Engine Prime software. But those two things are not working together while you're using the equipment. You're doing all your back end work, setting up your files through the Engine Prime software. Okay. But when you are in the middle of your gig and your hardware is connected to the laptop or whatever, well, it's standalone, so you're not connected to the laptop. But the point is, you're not connected in with the actual Engine Prime software while you're doing your live show on the SC5000. Okay, so unlike Serato, when you have Serato open, like over here, so you have Serato open and you're getting everything set up, you do not have the hardware connected. Well, you can use Serato that way, just like you can use Engine. But once you connect the controller to the laptop, now the software is connected to the hardware. So now you have all of the features basically on the hardware that you have in the software. Whereas with Engine Prime, this is basically just to set up your music and organize your music, then to download it onto your USB drive. Then you take your USB drive and you insert it over here into the SC5000. So quite honestly, there's quite a bit of work involved, especially if you're switching. It's a certain amount of work if you're just starting with this, but there's quite a bit of work if you're switching. So it is September 2018. This stuff is not as easy. It's not just as easy as they say to come over here and do your Serato collection, your record box collection. There's more to it. The software will stumble. I've had problems trying to go from Serato to Prime, so then I'm just making totally new libraries and playlists and databases. So the deal is I'm teaching myself how to DJ, And I'm not really interested in spending all my time in learning how to convert this to that, to move from this to that. And I basically had only touched the surface on Serato, which I realized when I started moving over to this. Because with this, you're wanting to do something and you cannot do it. And then you realize, well, I could do it over in Serato. So if you have too many moments like that where you're trying to be creative and you keep thinking, yeah, that stuff that I was using before that cost less and was easier, I could actually do it with that. And with this new stuff, I can't do it. Well, that's the reason that this stuff is going away. So I'm going to wave bye to the SC5000. I love you. I'll see you again. Thanks for watching.